haven't told our story very well. We really haven't. We've told our story inside of our company to each other. You know, the media has no interest in a positive story. They're always going to do negative, so forget about that. But we haven't come up with a vehicle to tell the story so people at least understand what it is that we do in an intelligent way yet in our profession. And I have an opinion on our profession. We're still in the garage as a profession. Like Apple came out of the garage, like Microsoft came out of the garage, we're still in the garage. We are in the infancy stages of our profession. It is so early. We're so baby in comparison to where we're going to be. So if you're ever wondering, you know, did I get in too late? You're going to laugh about that 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. Woo! You're so early. We're still figuring ourselves out. We're still setting up the rules of how we're going to regulate our profession. We're still working on how we tell our story. This isn't even really taught in universities yet. Guess what? It's going to be taught in all the universities. In your lifetime. That's going to happen. So I started on this documentary. We're going to be premiering it. I talked to a big documentary filmmaker 2 days ago. He said, you know what you're doing is absolutely insane, right? That it probably can't even happen. I said, yeah, I know, but it will happen. Because we've just started filming over the last 10 days, and we're going to premiere it at the GoPro Recruiting Mastery event in November. So we're going to have about a 40-minute short form of this documentary. One is going to be, for the prospects, anybody who doesn't understand. Just watch this and take a look at what the profession is and what it does and understand it, okay? And then we'll have a long form that will help educate people who are inside the profession. That won't be ready by November. But we're going to have that. We're going to have it on we're going to come up with electronic delivery, but also a CD, DVD on one side, CD on the other side, that you can hand out to people and have them go check. They have to find a place to plug it in. I understand what's going on, but you can't even plug it into your stuff anymore. But you can go find your Xbox. You can plug it into there. But as a tool, just a physical tool, I think that will help. But in addition, we'll have the ability to deliver it online and see how much your prospect watched it and those types of things. So I'm excited about that. And let me, Tom, you're here, right? Come here, will you? Joe, will you come up here for a second? I just want to take a break from this talk. And here, I haven't had a chance. I was going to film a Network Marketing Pro show with Tom yesterday, and he was so busy, and I was so busy. So we want to do it right now, and you guys should just be quiet. Woo! Just be quiet like mice, okay? We're going to get to it. Are you good there, Joe? And these are the guys that are helping do that kind of stuff. Is that on? Do we need to turn it on? I don't think so.
We're on? Okay, there we go.
All right. You good? Hey everybody, this is Eric Worre. Welcome to NetworkMarketingPro.com. I'm here with Tom Elkasm. Tom is a legend in the network marketing profession, earns gazillions of dollars. His family, I think, combined, it's over $7 million a year, right? Over $7 million a year in commissions in the network marketing profession. To say that he's an expert would be an understatement. You came to GoPro Recruiting Mastery last year.
I did.
And you're coming back again this year.
I am.
You're going to participate in a Legends panel.
A Legends panel?
A Legends panel. People who make over $25 million in their career in commissions and network marketing. Share with everybody what the benefit is to attending GoPro Recruiting Mastery again.
Well, you know, Eric, first of all, always great to be with you. You know, the advantage is always the word leadership. You know, everything that I've learned, that Bethany's learned, our family has learned, we've learned from other people that have gone ahead of us. And it wasn't hard to figure out, you know, years ago. And so what this opportunity, what this event does, is it gathers people from all around the world who are professionals and whose skills have moved to a higher level.
Some of the reasons why, some of the ways that I'm telling our story. First thing I want you to understand is I believe that in the new economy, and there's no question it is a new economy, technology is changing our world every single day. It's accelerating the loss of jobs every single day. Think about the people you used to deal with now. You deal with a computer, you deal with an app, you deal with some sort of electronic thing. And because of that, the world, the competition in the world for jobs has gotten much, much more fierce. And the companies are sitting in pretty good positions. That's why they're cutting a lot of people from 40 hours to 30 hours so they don't have to pay the benefits. That's why they're making them compete for their job literally every 90 days over the course of their career. And if they don't live up to that expectation, they'll replace them with somebody else. So the workplace has become the most unsafe place ever. How many people feel like you have ultimate job security outside network marketing? You don't anymore, do you? You're like, you have to be CEO of yourself and be constantly working on your skills and also be good at politics in order to be able to survive in the corporate arena, working for somebody else. Now, that leaves starting a traditional business. And in starting a traditional business, can I activate this, guys? This element thing? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ed!
All right, here we go. Next comment. Hey, there we go. All right. In becoming an entrepreneur, I believe entrepreneurialism is the future. The creativity that comes from being an entrepreneur is the future. So how many agree that being an entrepreneur is the way to go? Being your own boss is the way to go. Okay. So if you're going to do that, you have, I think, 4 options. Option number 1 is you can buy a business, an existing business. How many people in this room have ever bought a business? Now, again, I know I'm going to be talking to the chaperones that came with all these kids. It's like I went to prom, and there's a chaperone here and there in the prom. Old people can do this too. I just want you to know, old people can succeed in network marketing. It's possible. So, how many have bought a business before? What did you buy it for? How much? Millions? Millions? $1,200,000. 400,000. Who else? Yes, you. $1.5 million. $2.5 million? Holy moly. 30,000. How much? 2 million. 100,000. $1.2 million. 5 million. Big numbers. Right? How many of those people that put your... Stand up if you bought a business. Do me a favor. Stand up if you bought a business. Okay. Remain standing if it was the best investment of your life. So we have a few that did well, and go ahead and sit down. The reason why is because you bought somebody who had already gone through the pain of putting something together, maybe had a brand, maybe had a following, maybe had some infrastructure, right? So what's the first requirement in buying a business? You got to have some money. How many have just an extra $1 million or so laying around? Not a lot of people. So 2, you could buy a franchise. Anybody in the room ever bought a franchise? Anybody? You? That was the business? And that was the $1.2 million. $2.5 million. Okay. And how'd it go?
7 years I've made about what I make a week.
In 7 years, he's made about what he makes in a week in beans. Crazy, right? So you're buying some stability there, the ability to follow a system. He's laughing. I wish you could see his face. He's like, kid, I wish I could get my 2.5 back, is what he's saying. Franchises are guaranteed and they're very expensive. Third option is you can start from scratch. How many have ever started a business from scratch outside of network marketing? Okay? Now with that, I'm just going to tell you, I don't need to go around the room, I will tell you, the odds are stacked so heavily against success for starting a business from scratch, even though that's the dream, being in business for yourself, because you have to do so many things that you don't even like doing. Yeah. You might be really, really great at baking cookies and say, I'm going to start a cookie business. But you never get to bake the cookies because you have to be the janitor, and you have to be the babysitter of the employees, and you have to be the attorney to look at everything, and you have to be the banker to find everything, you have to be everything for everybody else. You're the hardest working person, you're the last person to get paid, right? And you have to hope that you can get to the other side for starting a traditional business. And guess what? One is the odds of just the challenges, the complexity of starting a business is one thing. Second thing is, you've got to raise some money. And where do you go? Typically, for starting a business. You used to go to the bank. Bank's not doing that anymore. Friends, family. They give you this little angel loan, and now your relationships are different for forever. If you're successful, they're mad at you, and if you fail, they're mad at you. Some of you who've had successful businesses know what I'm talking about. They resent the fact that you did well, even though you paid them back, because they think that they should get a little bit. It's the way it is, I'm telling you. So, one, you got to go into debt. Usually, you have to go into debt to start a business. Two, you've got to take the ultimate risk, because how many traditional businesses can you keep your other job? You've got to jump. You've got to leap. You've got to walk away from that job and start something new. Right? So if it doesn't work, what you're faced with typically is bankruptcy. Sorry, it didn't work. I got to go back and get a job now. I got to take 7 years to rebuild my credit rating. I've got to do all the things that I've seen other people have to do. That's the world. That's the reason why, in starting from scratch, 90% fail within 5 years, 90% plus fail within 5 years. That's the reason. So option, I don't know if there's any other options, but option number 4 is network marketing.
Yeah. Right up.
Network marketing. That's the 4th option. Is there another option that anybody can think of in starting business? I don't think there's another one. But network marketing. Here's the thing. Network marketing, you get all the benefits of business ownership, all of them, without the risk. You don't have to put millions of dollars into research and development. You don't have to load up a warehouse filled with product. You don't have to have somebody figure out the commissions and somebody regulate everything that's going on. You don't have to worry about licensing. You don't have to hire the attorneys. You don't have to have all the employees and deal with the turnover of that. You get to sit at home in your pajamas going, I wonder what I'm going to do today. You talk to a couple people and somebody buys something and they send you a check. Okay. For less than, starting a traditional business for less than you would spend on business cards. For less than you would spend on designing your logo.
Oh.
You can start a business, are you kidding me? And they'll do all of that stuff for you, and all you got to do is plug in and go to work a little bit. Next time you think about whining about your experience in building a business, just, I promise you, you don't want what the corporate people have to deal with every single day, especially when they have to listen to somebody whine. You know what I mean? They set the table for you. Here's the table, here's the banquet, we deliver the food, we give you drinks, we take care of everything. We'll clean up afterwards. All you got to do is sit down and eat. That's all you got to do. So, Show me something that has a lower risk and a higher potential return. Because with that lower risk, they should cap your income. There should be a max that you should be able to make at that lower risk, right? Every place else on planet Earth, if the risk was that low, there would be a cap on your income. But not inside network marketing. See, I promise you, Tom makes a lot of money, or Brad makes a lot of money. This year will be around $3 million. If Brad worked for corporate and he was making $3 million, the relationship would change. Corporate would start having meetings. Do we really need to pay him $3 million? I just saw he went wakeboarding yesterday. $3 million he went wakeboarding. You kidding me? But in network marketing, when he's in the field, guess what? BK wants to pay him $1 million a month. And he'd throw a party. He wouldn't be throwing any parties. It'd be a retirement party if he was throwing another party, if he worked for the company as an employee. But in the field, we champion this. It's the most fair, lowest risk, highest return opportunity on earth. Show me something that has a lower risk and a higher potential return and more support anywhere on earth. I don't believe that you can show it to me. So that's number one, is traditional versus network marketing. Number two, a lot of people love to throw the words Ponzi scheme and pyramid scheme around, which really drives me bananas. And here's why. They think the shape, the potential theoretical shape of what we do in network marketing is the problem. It's the shape. We have to do something about this shape. So, it's really, really critical thinking here. Professors talk about the shape. I'd love to do a debate one time, live online, streamed to the world. It'd be so fun to do. Yeah, we'll get there. So, what does the organizational structure of a church look like? What does the organizational structure of any company look like? What does the organizational structure of our government look like? What does the organizational structure of the military look like? The world is illegal. Clearly. Yeah, how about the structure of the Today Show? What does that look like? But here's the thing. Here's the thing I want you to understand. In network marketing, guess what? Here's where they get hung up. In network marketing, what do we try and illustrate to people is the power of leverage, the power of building a network of people, the power of growing a team, and the ability to earn a smaller percentage off a larger group of people than 100% of your own effort, right? So we've all shown these stories that says, here's you, and if you just bring in 5 people, show them the business, they decide to join, and then you teach those people to bring in 5, then you teach those people to bring in 5, and then you teach those people to bring in 5. And this does illustrate the power of leverage in our business. But here's what they think. Here's what they think. They think the person that joins here is feeding everybody else, and they're the sucker. That's what they think. They think the person that just joined today in this company is the sucker because they're feeding everybody else's dreams and not their own. And it's the complete opposite. It has nothing to do with reality. Guess where we get paid? We get paid when a product is sold to a consumer, right? We get paid when product moves. We don't get paid for building a structure. We get paid when product moves. Here's what a Ponzi scheme is: something that looks like this, but you're taking the money from these people that came in and you're paying it to the people who came in before. That's what Bernie Madoff did on Wall Street. He had investors, and he was promising them huge returns of investment. 20, 30, 40% a year. So let's say the investors are in this group right here on these tables. And then he would tell the results, hey, I'm getting 40% to the rest of the world. Those people would come in. He couldn't give them 40% based upon his skills. The rest of the people, they'd bring their money to him to invest, to try and get the returns they were getting, and he would take their money and he'd give it to those people. And so long as there was more people coming in, he was always able to pay those commissions. But once that stopped, all the cards fell to the floor and it was over. That's a Ponzi scheme. A pyramid has three basic fundamental things you need to understand. Here's what a pyramid has. One, they pay for the act of recruiting. Just the pure act of recruiting, not for product movement. Just to recruit somebody, you get paid. That's one criteria. Criteria number two is the product's not really valuable. See this Sharpie pen? We sell it for $200 a pen. And it just creates a gain. The product has no value. Right? So that's number two. Number three, and this is where we need to get better, is the financial opportunity is overinflated, it's overhyped, it's overpromised, it's overexaggerated. So when one of those three things happen, then the regulators come in and say, wait. If you're promising too much, then that's not true, right? Number one. Number two, if you're paying for the act of recruiting. Number three, is your product for real? Is there does the price to value thing add up? And clearly in network marketing, the only time we get ourselves in challenge as a profession is when we get too excited and we tell the Alcazan story and we say, guess what? Everybody can have that immediately. Well, is it possible? Yes. It's possible. It's an example of what's possible. So long as you put it as an example of what's possible, not of what's going to guarantee, not that you're going to make $10,000 a week within a few months, everybody does it, where we promise this something for nothing lottery type story. As long as we don't do that and we articulate where we are, then I think we're fine. That's the only real issue, is the over-exaggeration from amateurs that get involved in the profession that haven't learned what professionals do yet. That's really it, okay? So you understand this, and it's not about the shape, and it's not about the person at the bottom feeding everybody else. See, in a typical company, if this was Microsoft, and you join Microsoft at the bottom, what do you have to do to get to the top? To be the CEO of Microsoft.
Worre.
Think about the maze and the years and the decades that you would have to go through, the backs that would have to be stabbed, and the butts that would have to be kissed. It's an unending series of butts that you would have to kiss. Some people would have to die, probably, for you to get to the top of your lifetime, right? True or not true? You might get halfway up, and then there's a manager who says, you're not going any farther, sorry. There might be a glass ceiling, there might be a ceiling of education, there might be a ceiling of not being part of the good old boy network, there might be a ceiling of all these different kinds of things. But see, in network marketing, everyone starts here. They start there. The first day, they don't have to go through all this maze. They start there, and they can start to grow their network right from there without having to deal with politics and fighting and nonsense, discrimination all over the place. They start from there, and based upon their efforts, they get paid. They get paid more fairly here than any other place on earth. Network marketing does. So, and I also have to tell you, some people like to talk about the success rate. Another thing that drives me bananas. Oh yeah, well 90% fail. Drives me nuts. How many people have ever sold real estate in this room or getting a real estate license? Okay. Guess what? According to the Board of Realtors, guess how many people who get their license never sell a single home? 94%. I think that should be investigated. How many of those people who spent that money, how much did it cost to get your real estate license approximately? $150 up to $1,000. Go to school and stuff. If you go to the school, go through all that stuff. So you were a victim then. You know, if you didn't sell a home, you were a victim. Does the real estate profession give people their money back? Let's talk about journalists for a second. So, if I were being interviewed, my first question to the interviewer would be, so, excuse me, before you ask me any questions, Mr. Lauer, approximately, how many people do you think go to journalism school per year in the United States alone? And I give them the actual number. I don't have it with me, but I give them the actual number. I say, okay, so of those people, how many never finish school? They start, but they never finish. Big percentage don't finish. First question is, should the people who didn't finish get their money back? Of what they invested so far in their journalism career? So the ones who do get through college and they pay their way through, how many never get a job in journalism? So didn't the educational system fail them? Shouldn't we have some legislation getting all of those students their money back, canceling their student loans? Because they never got it. They never had success in the journalism career. Wouldn't that be fair? No, they should take responsibility. So, of the people who do get jobs, how many never ever make over $100,000 a year? What percentage? I give them the number. I say, how many, Mr. Lauer, get paid millions a year like you on television? What percentage of the total? This sounds fishy to me, sir.
Woo!
The argument falls apart, doesn't it? If you don't succeed in school, guess whose responsibility that is? It's yours. If you get involved in financial services, you get your license, and you never ever sell a single financial services product, whose responsibility is that? It's yours. If you get a real estate license, you never sell a home. Whose responsibility is that? It's yours. If you get involved in network marketing and you don't do a thing, whose responsibility is that?
Go. Preach it.
It's yours. What drives me nuts is this profession protects the consumer and the distributor more than any profession protects anybody that gets involved voluntarily.
Wow.
We'll give you 90, 100% of your money back for trying. You don't get your money back for education. You don't get your money back for real estate. You don't get your money back for financial services. You don't get your money back for failing at being a journalist or an actor or an athlete. You invest 20,000 hours in becoming an athlete and you don't make the pro team. Guess what? You don't get that time back. Grow up. Told you I was going to be straight. Right? Come on. There's no profession that is more fair, period. It's fair on how it pays. It's fair in the low price in relation to the support. It's fair that there's no ceiling. It's fair that it will give you a failure safety net. We'll catch you if you fall. Oh, I'm sorry. You invested 40 hours of your life and it didn't work out. I can't help you for that.
Preach it.
Fired up. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Our numbers that we report voluntarily are so wildly inaccurate to the downside. Here's why. You see the income disclosure? That's not real. You know why it's not real? Because in our profession, we count as participants in the pay structure, we count customers.
Wow.
The majority of people that get involved and use the product are getting it to be able to get it at a lower price. That's the vast majority. I believe that the definition of a distributor, I know you guys have changed definitions, and I think I applaud you for doing that, but the definition really is somebody who's distributed something. Not somebody who's used the product. If they've sold something, count them. If they've got a check for building something, count it. But if they haven't, you shouldn't count them. Now, if you do the income disclosures on those numbers of the people who actually distributed something, you're talking about big numbers. But there's something like, I don't know, 80% at least of every company in network marketing, 80% of the people they're counting as distributors, counting as participants, are really just customers. 80%. So if you're depressed looking at that, what's the average person at the bottom level? They're making $1.23 a year. Okay, well that's pretty low, right? But it's like walking into Abercrombie and Fitch. Person walks in and says, I'd like to have a t-shirt. Okay? They sell them a t-shirt. They walk out and they call that person a failure. That's what it's like. That person failed. They bought a product, they were happy with the product, they walked out, we count them as a failure. We count them as somebody who's never made anything in the business. How do you deal with the fact that most people fail? How do you define failure? They use the product, they enjoy it. That's not failure to me. Now, if they came into the store, they put on the little uniform, they got a name badge, they start selling something, let's count them. But if they walk in, buy something, happy with it, walk out with a jump in their step, they're not a failure. They're a customer. That's what they are. So, here's another one. I want you to write some stuff down on this one. Here's another one that drives me crazy. Only the people at the top make money, or nobody makes money in network marketing. It's a scientific fact. Nobody makes money in network marketing. Okay, I hear you. Let's explore. Approximately, there's $169 billion per year generated from network marketing direct selling companies around the world. $169 billion.
Wow.
If you combine override commissions, bonuses, retail commissions, approximately 40% of that number gets paid out every year to distributors in the profession. That works out to $74 billion a year. No one makes money? $74 billion a year. That works out to approximately over $6 billion a month, $1.42 billion a week, over 200 million a day. Nobody makes money? Over 200 million a day. Where's that going? It's being sent to somebody, and if it's not going to people, we need to have an investigation. 200 million a day. Really? Nobody makes money. They say, well, no. You misunderstood. It's only those few fat cats at the top. Let's explore that. There's approximately, according to my guesstimates, approximately 500 people in our profession that earn 1 million plus a year. Okay? About 500. So let's average up the number up to 2 million. If you take all of them, $2 million a year, that would equal 1 billion a year. Paid to that elite 7-figure earner group. 1 billion a year. If you average it up to 2 million, or excuse me, 2 million a year. That's 1 billion a year. So that means the 74 gets chopped down to 73. It's only those couple making money. 73 billion is going to somebody else. Well, okay. How many are making 100,000? Let's talk about that. Let's say it's, 10,000. Making 100,000 plus. What's 10,000? Let's average that up to 200,000. Okay, count for the people making more than 100. So what would that be? Another 2 billion. Right? I think that's right. So now, you're knocked all the way down to 71 billion. Instead of 200 million a day, it's 195 million a day. And where's that going to? People making 300 a month, 500 a month, 1,000 a month, paying off their student debt, paying off their credit cards, putting their kids through school, paying for their car, moving into a nicer neighborhood, going on vacation, go to Disneyland once a year. You know what I'm saying? Disneyland finally get it? All right, good. That was the thing. So if they say nobody makes money, explain this to me, please. Explain this to me. Is this an illusion? What's going on? So if that argument's dead, let's move to the next one.
Boss.
I don't know how far I should go, but I'm going to go. One time versus residual. One time versus residual. The whole world works on one time. You do something, you get paid one time. You make a sale, you get a commission one time. Very few, even some of the professions that did have residual have just gutted it. Like the insurance profession, they had residual built in. And for the most part, they gutted it. People who used to be able to build up a book of business and ride that into their retirement, they don't get to do that anymore. Show me a profession that will pay you 5 years from today for efforts that you did today. Show me one. It's hard to find. You might find one, but not with an upside that we have. The low entry point, the high return. So the ability to have residual is huge, and it's wildly misunderstood. People think that they're building something and it's all based upon the next fool, the next fool, the next fool. If you stop bringing in fools into your business, that's all we can get people to do. Try it. If they like it, they'll rebuy it. If they don't like it, they'll stop rebuying it. But as time goes by, this is from driving the business. And this is from pure customers. So it starts off really, really low on the customer side, and every month that goes by, you have somebody that's not building a business and decides to be a customer and stay a customer. Every month that goes by. Tom, how long have you been doing this now? It's been 10 years. So when you first started, it wasn't a lot of residual customer volume. But if you never added another single person to your business and people were just using the product, You know, what percentage of your income today comes from just consumption? Approximately 90%. So 10 years down the road, 90% is coming from effort, from him kicking the rock off the mountain, kicking the snowball, creating an avalanche 10 years ago. He's still getting paid today for effort that he did 10 years ago in their family, right? A lot of you are here as a result of that. So just understand that, well, you know, how many real customers do you have? Well, this is my first month. Give me a minute. Where's it going to be? It's going to be, you know, over half. It's going to work its way up to 80, 90. Maybe at some point if I decide to retire, it might be 100%. I'm not going to be driving the ship anymore, and I'm just going to continue to get residual income. I have a friend of mine in this profession. He has, in his group, 1 million people around the world on a monthly auto ship.
What?
That are not earning commissions of any sort. 1 million on a monthly auto ship. Average about $40, $45 a month. What? He's only made 80 million or so in the profession. No big deal. He's 50, 51, 52. It's sickening. That's what it is. No, I'm happy for him. I got to see him last week. So, is some of this helpful to understand? Understand the stats, understand the definitions. In network marketing, we get paid when product moves, period, end of story. The bigger the network, more product we can get moving. That's why we emphasize building the network, because that creates leverage. Leverage is what creates freedom. Freedom is what we're looking for. We move product. When product moves, we get commissions. Pyramids do the three things that we talked about. The only thing that we have to really be careful of is that we don't overstate the income opportunity to a person. We don't let them think it's a lottery ticket, they're going to get rich overnight. Ponzi scheme is nothing even close to the truth. That is totally would be based upon recruiting, only bringing in new people to pay old people. Does anybody make money? $74 billion a year, and it's not just the people at the top. It's spread all over the profession. You get paid exactly to the penny in relation to the value you bring to the company, period of end of story. Regardless of the color of your skin, the age, they can't tell that you're 19 years old. The computer can't tell.
Ooh, let's go.
If you go to work for somebody else, they can tell. But the computer inside of this profession can't tell. It's going to pay you exactly to the penny, regardless of who you know, based upon the amount of production that you bring in.
Go!
So understanding, right? Understanding. If you got a little bit better understanding of what we have, yes or no? All right. Woo! I'm going to talk about a few more things, and then Tom's got some other stuff coming up here in the lineup that's going to be great. Part one of building confidence is understanding. That's what this is about. That's what the documentary is going to be about. You're going to see some people from all over the world, some of the brightest minds in the world, talking about all the things we just talked about much more eloquently than I did. And giving the facts, the statistics, everything else to be able to validate what it is that we do. I want you so excited to can't wait to put it in the face of somebody that's giving you a hard time. And say, argue with this. You don't need to argue with me. Argue with these people. So that's number one. Number two is skills. And I'm telling you, how many people have read GoPro or listened to the audio of GoPro? Listening, reading is one thing. Putting it in practice is another thing. Here's all I'm going to talk to you about skills. It takes an attorney approximately 16,000 hours of practice of study in the classroom, homework, getting ready to pass the bar, all that stuff. 16,000 hours of practice before they can start charging somebody as an attorney. 16,000 hours. You saw that video at the beginning that Tom shared with all of those athletes. Those athletes, Olympic athletes, average about 20,000 hours of practice to get to those moments where they put their hands in the air. 20,000 hours of their lives not being paid. Taking ice baths. Nobody's looking, wrapping injuries, dealing with life. 20,000 hours for that moment. But yet, and here's where I'm going to be honest. There's very few of you in this room that have even given it 100 hours of practice in network marketing.
Wow.
Practice, not winging it. Well, how are you building your business? Well, I just go out there and I just wing it. What if those athletes just were winging it? I don't need to practice for the Olympics, I just think I'm naturally fast. Okay, let's see how that goes. It's not going to go well. We're filled with, because we won't force you to do what you're capable of doing. You can be lazy in network marketing. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I think I got to walk around with it. What I want to tell you is, you have to practice finding people to talk to. You have to practice inviting people. Get together with somebody else and work with you. You got to practice presenting in a way that works. You got to practice answering questions, overcoming objections. These things aren't hard. You got to practice closing. You got to practice getting people started. You have to practice building for events. And you got to become world class. So bulletproof, it's unbelievable. But if you keep winging it, here's what I can predict for you. If you're winging it right now, and most of you are winging it, if we're honest, most of you are just, I'm along for the ride. There's a lot of momentum here. I think I can just kind of hang out and stuff will happen. I predict one of two things for you if you're winging it right now. One, winging it's not going to be enough. And you're going to find your way out of here. Somebody will hurt your feelings, something will happen, somebody will go poop, and it'll be over. Or two, there's going to come a day when you get mad. And you say, I'm done living like this. I'm done crawling in this profession. I'm done paying myself 10 cents on the dollar. I'm not going to do this anymore. There's something. But once you get to the point where you do make a decision, this business gets pretty easy. Until you make a decision, this business stays really hard. I would save you that pain by just deciding. These skills are not rocket science, but you've got to practice. Give me somebody who'll give me 100 hours, not 16,000, not 20,000. Give me 100 hours of just over and over and over doing the invite, over and over and over doing the close, over and over answering the questions, overcoming objections, until you have it cold like the best thing you've ever had in your life. Give me that. Versus, oh yeah, I'm excited. Well, no, you don't know how excited I am. I'm even more excited than you. No, I just went to this conference. I'm super excited. It's the most amazing thing ever. You gonna go to the next one? I don't know. You gonna go to the next one? Try talking with a prospect instead of each other all day. Now, I gotta give you something that's really was valuable for me. Say yes, and then figure it out. A lot of people have this. There's three things. Ready? Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire.
Fire. I think for an entrepreneur, that's messed up. It's ready, fire, and then aim. In other words, take action now and figure it out as you go. Everything important that I've ever done in my life, I had no idea how I was going to do it. So you decided to become a network marketing professional. The path is not important. What's important is the decision. If you decide and you're really committed you're going to do it, then it's going to be fine. My first decision to join network marketing, I said, okay, let's do it. Now we'll figure it out.
Yes.
When I didn't know how to do a presentation in front of the room, I said, okay, I'm going to do a presentation. Book me for that such and such a date 4 weeks from now. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll figure it out between now and then. When I was starting my own meeting in my local market, starting a hotel meeting, I had no idea not only how I was going to do it, but how I was going to pay for it. I had no clue. But I decided I was going to do it, and I figured it out along the way.
Go!
How many people heard that speech when I was 29 years old? That big speech that's in the book? That's another example. I said, yes, book me. I'll be ready. I'll be there. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I figured it out between now and then.
Go!
Same thing's true in this profession. I will tell you, the book Go Pro. I tell you at the beginning of the book, I'm not a writer. I'm not. Really. But I just said, you know what? I've got to get this out of my body and onto paper, and I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I'm sure there's better people than me, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm just going to do it. This documentary, do you think I'm a filmmaker? No shot. I'm not. And everybody's telling me, including other documentary filmmakers, you know you're crazy, right? Yes, I absolutely know that. But it will premiere on November 21st. So my point to you is this. You might not know how you're going to get there. You might not know how you're going to pay rent this month. You might not know how you're going to deal with your debts. You might not know how you're going to deal with your negative influences around you and people rolling their eyes at you. And you might not know how you're going to get to the top rank in this company. But if you make a decision to do it, the decision is enough.
Let's go!
Last thing I'll tell you is make a decision. Some people asked me yesterday in the back, give me what's the secret? How should I do this? And sometimes I think you just got to get mad. You got to get mad. I think I've done more things out of desperation than inspiration, to be honest. Getting myself in desperate spots and having to get myself out of it. But if I look back at these turning points, they're where I got mad and I said, you know what? I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to apologize for being young. I'm not going to apologize for not having all the skills in the world because I want to do this. I'm not living like this anymore. I'm not crawling. I'm tired of dealing with creditors. I'm tired of avoiding their calls. I'm tired of having people expect more of me than I've ever done in my life. Talking about all the potential that I have and I've never lived up to it. I'm tired of having other people make me feel small. I'm tired of myself making me feel small. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up for myself and my business and other people, and I'm going to pour my life into others. And it's not about getting mad at others and pointing all of your venom at them. It's getting mad at your situation. I'll tell you something that happened to me about 1 year into my network marketing career. I'll close with this. Back in the day, one of the things that we did is we ran ads in the local newspaper, and people would call in, and we'd bring them to, sit down with them in the lobby of somewhere, and we'd show them our opportunity and let them know it wasn't really a job, it was more of an adventure. And I was desperate. If you've read the book, I rebuilt my organization 7 times. I was willing to do whatever it took. I was willing to drive wherever it took, do whatever it took. But I was desperate. I was already had too much month at the end of the money. I'd run out of money. Then I was hiding from creditors. I was doing everything. I was trying to throw the long ball. Hopefully, somebody would catch it and something would happen. I needed something to happen. I don't know if you've ever been at a point where you needed something to happen. Then I had a business trip to Nashville that we ended up driving down there. And while we were there, I ran an ad in the paper and got this huge response. So I decided, you know what? I've got all this negativity at home anyway, all these creditors calling anyway. I'll just go to Nashville for 90 days. Took my little family, drove to Nashville, and ran an ad. Got this really good response. And so I was there for like 90 days, trying to build, trying to make something happen. Nothing really happened there. But we drove back in 2 cars. My wife was coming behind me in a second car with her sister, and they were stopping at a friend's on the way back. And I got home first. And we had this little townhouse that was 7 levels. It was one room each level. It went all the way up. And the second level, above the 1-car garage, was a little deck, and it went into the kitchen area. And while I was gone, the electricity had been turned off because I hadn't paid the bill. My checking accounts were closed because, I bounced checks. Everything was bad. And when I walked into the room, it was July. I walked into the little townhouse, and everything in the refrigerator had gone incredibly and terribly bad. You can't imagine the smell of this house, because all the meat had just rotted for like a month. Okay? So I'm like, there's a stack of bills, been thrown in under the door, and I'm like, called my brothers and said, will you come over and help me? I got to, before my wife, she's going to have a nuclear meltdown if she walks into this house. I just can't, I need help. So I still remember to this day, we had to walk from the kitchen out to the deck and dump stuff into the garbage. So we're grabbing bags of dripping, rotted meat, dropping it up. And I remember saying, you know what? I'm not living like this anymore. I'm not doing it. I'm done with my excuses, and I'm done with avoiding the realities, and I'm done with, going halfway. I'm done. You know what I did? I went back to the kitchen, and I went back to the freezer and went to lock it in. I can smell it today. I said, I'm not smelling this anymore. Woo! I'm not ready like this anymore. I'm not doing it. Here's what I will tell you. I hadn't really made a decision until that day. That's when I just said enough. I'm calling all my creditors before they call me. Enough. I'm not avoiding my issues anymore. Enough. I'm not going to deal with debt because this recurring theme is my fault. It's not my circumstance. I'm going to change. And when that happened, everything changed for me. Within just a few years, everything started to turn. Everything started to get better. Everything started to go better. So, you know why I'm here? One, I love the Lima family. BK is an amazing person. I'm so proud of what you're doing. I'm so irritated at some of the unfair shots that have been thrown this way. But you know what? That's going to define all of you. Some people aren't going to be able to handle it, and some people are going to use it as fuel to be able to go to another level. But I'm here because I'm really proud of what you're doing. And on top of that, I think you're just at this much of your potential. It's going to grow so big in the next 3 to 5 years, you're not even going to recognize it. That's something. So let me close by telling you, ladies and gentlemen, my wish for all of you is that you decide to become network marketing professionals, that you decide to go pro, because it is a stone cold fact that we have a better way.